Welcome to a special episode of Ganesh Chaturthi at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum and our tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Law, Legacy, and Leadership. Shruti Swaika on building trust across generations. An accomplished advocate with over 15 years of experience spanning estate planning, civil and corporate litigation, insolvency, real estate, and corporate restructuring. A familiar face in the Kolkata High Court and multiple tribunals, Shruti's practice blends sharp legal acumen with deep client centric insights. Beyond the courtroom, she serves as an independent director on several prestigious boards and actively contributes to thought leadership initiatives in the legal and corporate community. In this candid conversation, uh, Shruti will open up about her legal journey, the evolving landscape of estate planning in India, and how lawyers can balance technical expertise with empathy in their work. And we also come to know Shruti as a person. So, welcome, Shruti, today's special festival episode.
Thank you. Thank you, Leon.
Okay, so let me explain you. There will be three rounds: professional, personal, and a surprise rapid fire round where we'll be in the hot seat and you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And here's your inspiration gift, which will be autographed and sent to you. So
Thank
let's begin. So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. My first question, Shruti, you have had a multidisciplinary legal practice. What drew you later to estate planning as a specialization, and how has the journey been?
Leon, I'm a fifth generation member of a Marwari business family based out of Kolkata. And, so I've had very close roots, strong roots in the business community and seen mostly business families growing up. But as a first generation lawyer, I've also seen how what kind of disputes kind of crop up in this space, and where these reasons are, where does it arise from. So with this experience, I felt that estate planning would be something that made a lot of sense for me, and it allows me to combine the experience that I've received from all of these quarters to create some impact. So that's
Wow. So I'll divide because you have got multiple experience. The first part will continue with the estate planning thing.
yes.
Mhm. So estate planning should often involves sensitive family and financial dynamics. How do you navigate these conversations with clients?
So I think a big part with estate planning and the conversations with the clients is giving them a lot of space, giving them a judgment-free environment, allowing them time to reflect. Because when a client is coming, they have a set agenda, and I find it my responsibility to give them a more wholesome or a 360-degree perspective to the issue or the assignment that they're embarking on. You're right, this very sensitive discussions that emerge. The questions that we ask, sometimes they haven't been really thought through by the client. So I allow them a lot of time for considering the repercussions, considering what they want to do, and but mostly holding a space which is free of judgment, allowing them the space to think and just bring some gentleness to the process that solves a lot of the problems.
So you must have faced what do you say stubbornness and there is what do you say they have come up with different mindsets or things where according to the law or things might not be in a, the Indian Succession Act. So how do you navigate and bring them ke by what they are saying and want to do? My question is that.
I understand. So, that's not so much of an issue, to be honest. The clients or people are not intending to be stubborn. They normally have a need that needs to be addressed. There's an issue, which is why they come to a lawyer. It's my job to fit it within a legal framework. It's my job to explain to them how to arrive at a solution. They're not looking at blocking a solution from happening. We're looking at working together at arriving at the best solution for what works for the client. But they're not necessarily looking at being stubborn. So that's not something that happens very often.
Wow. What has been the memorable case where uh, the beneficiaries and the person who has made his will has covered all aspects of a legacy planning?
I would like to believe all of the cases that I've worked on have covered all aspects. Sometimes people have a very specific vision as to what they want to address. So perhaps very rarely would it not cover every aspect, but each and every assignment covers all the requirements that the client and the family would have.
So I've been meeting apna coffee speakers. There are ke bhai they are single child and they are ye pet lovers. So what advice for viewers out there? I'm just asking for on their behalf and from my understanding also. How do they cover those aspects in their wills?
So, I mean, it's so, I'll actually at the outset, I would give the disclaimer. I don't always tell every client to just go ahead and make a will. There are pros and cons to making a will as well. If it is intended that you want your inheritance or your succession to happen in the same manner that the law would have been providing for in any event, and there's no deviation expected, a will may not be required in that instance, and making a will could be unnecessarily burdensome on the family, because at least in various jurisdictions and at least in West Bengal you do need to get a probate. Most of the states require a lengthy probate process. So if you have an only child, you're looking at all your estate vesting in your only child, and that would be the only way that would have gone. Perhaps if you don't have other family members, you may not need to make a will. Having said that, if it's for a pet, you can leave sufficient asset for a pet, but typically in the case of, say, dogs or cats or birds, which are the most common pets,
Hmm.
their lives are much more limited. It's unlikely that the pet is going to survive very long after you, if at all survive you. So
Hmm.
leaving behind even a certain amount of money and providing for some, caregiver would be sufficient. It's not something that I have seen requires a lot of effort. The only part that requires an effort, and that's not so much of a legal hurdle, is to find a trustworthy caregiver or an organization that would handle that. But leaving behind an amount for taking care of a pet, that's not a challenge.
Beautiful said. So, Shruti, according to you, how has the perception of estate planning in India changed over the past decade?
So I think over the last decade or so, awareness has increased to a great extent. People have understood why it's required. Earlier, it was a concept which perhaps only large families or business families having multiple businesses, corporate houses were looking at. Now, people realize with a more dynamic form of society where relationships are much more in a sort of, it's there's a lot more unpredictability with relationships now, with a legal framework and regulatory environments being, much more complex and dynamic. A lot of smaller business houses, simple families are realizing that it's a conversation that needs to be had. Every structure need not be a complex structure. A smaller family, or a single business family, or a family of, say, mostly employed persons might require a simple structure, but it's worth a conversation, and families are having that conversation, which is what I've seen is emerging as a very positive trend.
Yeah, that's true. Because I've been having conversations and not through my Lions Club. I've seen female especially taking interest and ready to have conversation with their husbands, with their parents, with their in-laws, and to uh, ये break the myth कि भाई will बनाने का टॉपिक लेंगे तो they will have fear of कि भाई मैं यमराज को बुला रहा हूँ.
Yes, money is often a much more taboo topic than topics we normally consider taboo.
Yeah, but they're what do you say, empowering themselves and willing to start this difficult conversations.
Yes,
So, uh,
I'm
so
glad
good.
you're seeing that in your experience as well.
Yes. Okay. So we'll go to the next part. How do you approach? Sorry, you have worked with insolvency and restructuring as well. How does this complement your estate planning practice?
So, the insolvency practice, especially with personal insolvency laws coming in, has brought, made real how quickly wealth can unravel. So, this has greatly impacted the entire practice area. It's made us realize how you need to protect family wealth from the downturns which a certain business or certain, risks can pose as a threat. So the insolvency practice very directly has impacted the estate planning practice.
Wow. So let's go to your next role. How do you approach balancing your litigation work with the advisory and planning side of your practice?
Balancing in, if you mean in terms of time, it's not been a problem. I've always had a multidisciplinary practice. So scheduling things and maintaining a calendar has always been a part of my training from the very early days. With court, you know that you have a court date, you know your timings for court. So there's no amount of flexibility around that. It's just something you need to provide for. But with advisory, with non litigation, you get that amount of flexibility where you can really work anytime, any place. So it's not such a challenge, really.
Wow. Okay. So Shruti, you have served as an independent director on several companies. What do you believe lawyers uniquely bring to board level decision making?
So I would say, as a lawyer, we work with diverse clients in different segments, in different levels of operation, different business verticals. So when we are sitting on the board, it brings a more well-rounded experience. And I think that's also what the ministry intended when they had and have independent directors, is that you get outside perspective into the conversation. And so that helps. That's what we normally provide, because the executive directors, the promoter directors are zoomed into the business. So it helps when you can give an outside perspective. And of course, as a lawyer, you're just, that legal insight is there. You have a little bit more risk assessed opinion on things. But largely, it's about getting an external perspective.
Wow. So, Shruti, as someone who has seen the corporate and private client sides of law, what are the key skills lawyers need to excel in both?
I'm sorry, corporate and private client, as in?
Uh, you're handling अपना business ये clients अपना private means for estate planning.
Okay, and as a general corporate practice also.
Yeah. हाँ.
I've not seen, I mean, any difference in the requirements. So you're right. The key skills that required in any practice area, I would say, would be good listening skills, clear
Hmm.
communication, understanding as to what the client requires, adapting to, changes that might arise in the course of the assignment. Sometimes there are evolving requirements, but I feel these are key skills that you require in any space for to excel in that space. Because at the end of the day, we're looking at solving a problem for a person. So to understand the problem and then bring in the legal acumen, the practical experience, that's what we do.
Wow. So, Shruti, AI is impacting everywhere. How is experience in using AI for your work?
I would say I'm still an AI novice. I have very bare minimum usage. I think I need to learn a lot more. It definitely helps in faster documentation, a little bit assist here and there. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be able to either tweak AI or there will be more appropriate platforms of AI which will help us work more efficiently. But right as of today, I would say I'm using it in a very minor way compared to what the potential of AI should be.
It's all right. Okay. So, who has influenced you or you follow someone from the world of estate laws?
So it's not one person. I've uh, I've had a number of experiences which led me towards this area, seeing it amongst clients in my earlier days, seeing it amongst various people we know socially. These were reasons which propelled me towards the practice area, seeing the need that it can, the problems that you could solve. Having said that, there's an author whose book I really enjoyed reading and gave me a lot of perspective as to how I should approach estate planning. Is James E. Hughes. It's an American author, and they've written their generational advisors on wealth transfer, and the perspective that he's brought in his book definitely has left an impact on me.
Wow, beautiful. So, are there any Indian authors who have written on a will transfer estate planning?
I believe you've written something.
Mine is more generic one. And it is a handy guide book on, let me share for the viewers
So
out there. It's a
if
handy guide book on how to make your will, on the different nuances, the will, trust, and probate. So just I'm asking more on कि by like as you said कि that ये अपना American author was done
yes,
for wealth
if
अपना wealth transfer in details. So any one Indian author who was done the research and taken up something by with case studies and अपना that will help what do you say ये Indian families to take up because there are financial planners are talking about but they do it in one segment covering because estate planning involves Indian Succession Act where so many things you must be knowing. Okay, by
yes,
the property laws, India is what do you say? When you sit down, तो you have to consider so many ये laws before you make a will कि will कौन से स्टेट में, तो स्टेट लॉज को भी देखना पड़ता है, सो मेनी थिंग्स को देखना पड़ता है. इफ यू आर फ्रॉम गोवा, तो गोवा में तेरा स्पेशल कंसेशंस आते हैं कि जहाँ पे आई डिड अ कॉफी विद एथिलवार मेंडिस, इज अ मैरीटाइम लॉयर. सो आई हैड सम पर्सनल ये क्वेरीज बिकॉज माई कजिन इज फ्रॉम गोवा. सो वहाँ का ये what do you say, will transfer is very because if you're from the Portuguese side or from अपना ये गोवा का है, what do you say,
Personal laws get
side.
involved in
हाँ,
yes,
so certain benefits you're getting.
true.
So like each state कुछ ना कुछ रहेगा, so you have to know of that state. So
True.
like
So
that.
we have a federal structure. I don't claim to be an expert in every state's the local laws. You do need advice from a state specialist if you're getting involved in local laws. Having said that, I've not come across an Indian author which has who has written in a very 360-degree manner. I've in my previous role as with Fox and Mandal, and I was there for 13 years or so. I've had the chance to be involved in huge, I mean, litigation worth just like some thousands of crores when it came to just these personal laws and succession planning and estates. So when you look at when you're part of a litigation in any manner, you start looking at things from all the perspectives where there could be problems, how one can create a dispute, how one can solve for a dispute, what are the various angles that an estate planning gone wrong can look like. So those experiences have helped me shape my understanding, but I wouldn't say there's any one book that I've come across as yet which has been able to guide me in the Indian front. It's been more based out of practice that I've seen.
So you should
I'm not planning to write it.
I was going to
So,
say that because
another, I
I've got
mean,
one of
in the
my
way.
speaker who's written on apna dispute resolution. It
Hmm.
in the conversation, sorry, when the group was formed and everything was going on, in his profile, it was there by he's an author and he's gone for second revision. I told
Yes.
him to get the book and showcase. बोला सर अब बोल तो रहे बट इतनी बड़ी बुक है कि मुझे उठा के दिखाने वाला नहीं, लाना पड़ेगा. So he got so happy कि भाई he showed it, and there are other coffee speakers who know about his book कि भाई अपना they follow him, and he's an Amazon bestseller,
Wow. No,
and he's gone
I
for
feel
second edition.
I have a lot of learning to go through yet, a lot of experiences to gather yet to be able to write or pen down things. Um, there's so many permutation combinations. There's
Yes,
such a vast topic. I would
I
really
know.
have to put my thoughts together to be able to pen down something.
So you could have अपना क्या बोलते हैं 2-3 co-authors together and divide ये top sorry subject wise, and ये bring out this book. This is a suggestion. Think it over, and because
This
it
was
there
the
are
coffee,
the
and
lawyers.
now you've given me food for thought also.
Yeah, so that's what we do at Coffee. Okay, by inspire for your next actions, because this topic has not been it's the information scattered and there is a depth. Uh, so for legal professional also, after they complete the course and they start their own practice or join law firms, that
Hmm.
information is scattered. So there is no something in what do you say, books available for them to refer. But they have to go इतने सारे different books को they have
It
to
is. It
pick
is
up.
a very diverse space. Besides personal laws, you have trust laws, you have company laws which get involved, you have tax laws which are a very, very big part of it. In fact, for large and complex transactions, you'll always have a separate tax advisor. It won't be just a team of lawyers. It is a complex space.
Mhm. So you kind of series. uh, After this conversation, Sunday is there. Sit down and make your apna who can be part of this project.
I'll
So
take your thoughts on that.
yeah. So my last question for your professional journey round: what advice would you give to young lawyers entering taking up a niche area of estate planning?
So, my advice, and I mean, that would be ambitious of me, to young lawyers for any practice, not just for estate planning, would be listen to the client, understand the problem, understand the gap that you're trying to solve for. Once you understand where the issue is, the second part is to read the law. I say that because um, we often tend to feel that this is something we know already or ought to know already, but really no. It's why we call it the practice of law. Um, Even lawyers who are 20 years senior to me, so or they always open the book because there's always something more to be learned. So read the law, understand, read commentaries and judgments. While it's good to rely on AI, use AI only as an aid. Don't use AI yet to simply draft for you, because there are many nuances which AI will still miss, and nothing replaces your intellect, at least yet. So the AI is still artificial and your intellect is still required. Specifically for estate planning, I would say, and this might be slightly controversial, and we're going to try to keep controversy out of the room, but I would say stay less judgmental, especially to the women out there. It can be
Mm,
a difficult space when you are advising families who are more traditional in their outlook.
mm,
Remember that it is perhaps even more embarrassing for them to come out as a traditionalist, and they have not come for advice as to whether they need to be progressive. They
mm.
need implementation of what their family values are.
Wow.
So that is something which can sometimes feel triggering for the younger generation, but
Mm.
change happens slowly. So one needs to be patient.
Beautifully. You give me a lot of insights when I'm having this conversation on this sensitive topic. Thank you for that. So let's go to next round and understand Shruti as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
My family is we're based out of Calcutta, born and brought up in the city. We're a Marwari business family. Formative years, I mean, for me, I've always been encouraged to speak my mind, to take decisions, and I'm expected to take responsibility for the decisions I make. So that's been there always. It's, I think, what led me to my entrepreneurial journey at this point.
Wow. Okay. So let's go to your days at Symbiosis Law School, Pune. I'm dividing in two parts. Why did you select to go to Symbiosis Law School, and what are your memories, experience over there from there? Sorry.
So I didn't so much plan on symbiosis. It's more something that happened to me. Law was not something which was the only plan. It
Mhm.
was just one of the plans. And I think once symbiosis happened, there was some amount of encouragement rather push that I had from the family to become a lawyer. A lot of people in the family felt that it was a good career decision for me. For me, it was really by accident. So that's how symbiosis happened. Sorry, what was part two of the question?
Your memories experience from Symbiosis Law College.
There's so many. So I think the moment I went to Pune, it was a whirlwind of change. It was the first time, as is for most of us, college is the first time we really stay out of home, outside of home. And Pune, and in fact, Symbiosis affords you a huge cross section of society that you meet, which Calcutta that way is fairly homogeneous. So seeing diverse cultures, understanding, listening to people from different backgrounds, who are your age, who are your contemporaries, or your friends. I think that left me with a lot of valuable experiences, which I carried back home.
Wow. So, what hobbies or passions do you pursue outside of law?
I genuinely wish I had a good answer for that. But what I land up doing in terms of hobbies is I really enjoy crafts and arts. And I think I'm more of a stationery hoarder than a stationery user. And recently, there's a friend who gifted me a crochet making and knitting set kit, and I'm yet
Hmm.
to still get there. Um, Constantly trying to immerse myself in some hobby or the other, and then life happens. So I do wish I had a better answer for that one.
It's fine. So, what's your favorite way to spend a quiet weekend in Kolkata?
So weekends in Kolkata, I try to make sure that I'm spending some time with the family. So I have my niece and nephew who really fill me up with life. I think they fill the cup metaphorically to like see the reason why we do what we do. And
Wow.
so typically it involves meeting them. Otherwise, you're catching up. I take that time to catch up with friends. I typically prefer a slow Sunday so that you're starting Monday fresh. And yeah, so Sundays, like we've had a on like a late monsoon. So, a cup of chai on Sunday evening is like ideal. It just really feels like you've kind of gathered yourself for Monday.
Wow. So, if your friend had to describe you in three words, what would it be?
If my friends were to describe me in three words, um, I think they would normally be saying stubborn because if I decide on something, I'm constantly at it. Unfortunately, I think they would perhaps be saying impatient because I feel everything should have been done yesterday. Um, but the third is caring. I I take it, I make it a point to be there.
Wow. So, what's one tradition or ritual you deeply value in your personal life?
In what space? Like in the workspace?
Yeah, you can refer to workspace.
So something that really helps me in the workspace every single day is I think I always start the day with I always plan for the next day the previous day. I need to have clear agenda, a clear list. It really helps me keep my day focused and productive. If I don't have that, I think the day can really get out of hand.
Wow. So let's make you tour guide for a day. Someone wants to visit Kolkata. What are the places to visit and what food to have?
So I'm partial to the Calcutta High Court. There are biases, but the entire central business district area, what we call the old Calcutta or CBD area, is full of grand historic buildings. I mean, this is the first capital of the country. So British India was largely based out of Calcutta. So the kind of history that you have in the structures and the monuments, it's uh,
Mhm.
it's truly awe-inspiring. I would tell anybody to do a walking tour of these areas of Calcutta with somebody, with a historian who can bring it alive. In terms of food, Calcutta is the place for foodies. So I love the chaat personally. So I would take people for chaat.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So my next question would be, what are your plans for 2025 in the remaining months, personally and professionally?
So there's a long list, but that's not something I would like to discuss in an interview. I've always been more for action over words. So that just unfolds as it unfolds.
Okay, it's fine. Okay. Since this is a Ganesh Chaturthi special episode, what message would you like to give to our viewers out there?
Happy Ganesh Chaturthi. I mean, Ganesh Chaturthi always takes me back to college times because it's Pune, and but I've had like the opportunity to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi there. The Modak, it's a fun time. Have fun, and may the blessings of Lord Ganesh be with you.
Wow. So you'll, after this conversation, call up your Pune friends and carry on the conversation, because next
Yes,
week, Ganpati Bappa is coming in
Ganpati
Maharashtra.
Bappa Moria.
Wow. Okay. So my last one is a googly one. Describe Shruti in one line.
Um, I would like to say I'm a lifelong learner, and I hope I am also an enabler and I can leave some positive impact on society.
Wow. So let's go to the next round, and then put you in the hot seat, the rapid fire round.
And not
You're
on the
going to
hot
come.
seat all the time.
Sorry?
Was I not on the hot seat all this time?
No.
This was the easy part.
This is the rapid fire round.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. What is your go to comfort food?
Rice, anything rice, biryani, pulao, dal chawal, anything.
Wow. Your favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite ये Marwadi cuisine?
Dal churma without the bati. I just like the dal churma.
Okay. Wow. Morning court or late night drafting?
Late night drafting, but you still have morning court. It's not an either or. I mean, you have to go to morning court.
I know. Yeah. Estate planning or litigation, if you had to choose one?
Estate planning.
Wow. One word that describes your journey.
Grit.
Tea or coffee to recharge?
That's a that's not an either or. There are zones when you need the chai, there are zones when you need the coffee, but for the purpose of this conversation, it'll be coffee.
Thank you.
Coffee.
So you did well, and here's your gift, which will be autographed and sent to you. So,
Thank you.
friends, what a truly insightful conversation this has been with Shruti, a lawyer whose journey reflects not just professional excellence but also the rare ability to balance legal precision with human understanding. From expertise in estate planning, litigation, and restructuring to a role in shaping corporate governance as an independent director, Shruti has shown us how law is not just about statutes and precedents, it's about trust, empathy, and legacy. Her reflection on how estate planning in India is evolving, the importance of empathy in sensitive client matters, and a perspective on uh, the trends evolving in law. So, Friends, subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show where there are 500 coffee speakers sharing their professional, personal journey. And if you want to be featured like Shruti, you can visit our website, the Emerging India Forum, or our LinkedIn page. And we continue a conversation over a cup of coffee on Monday. And happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all our viewers out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Leon.